Hey everyone! Today we're going to dive into a topic that is so important. And it comes with some uncertainty and possibly some worry. How to know your child would benefit from therapy or how your child may need extra supports. So if you're a parent, a teacher, a caring adult in a child's life, then this video is for you. Remember, noticing challenges and changes is not about labeling, it's not about panicking. It's about providing or supporting a child with compassion and curiosity. We need to normalize these conversations. Just like adults, children may need extra support for their emotional and mental well-being. Seeking that support or noticing that your child may need more than what you're capable of providing is not a sign of failure as a parent. It's a sign of strength to say, yeah, I need some help. And if your child is requesting that support, again, that is not failure for you as a parent. That is a sign of strength that your child is recognizing these signs as well. I'm going to break it down a little bit, all the different signs and symptoms, indicators that you should possibly seek therapy for your child. Maybe you've noticed your child acting differently, or maybe you just have this gut feeling that something is not right. You are not alone. Parenting doesn't come with a manual, and kids don't always have the words to tell us exactly what's going on with them. And it's very difficult for many kids to articulate exactly how they're feeling. That's where paying attention to the different signs comes into play. So today, I am going to walk you through some of the common signs that a child could benefit from seeing a therapist, from seeking therapy, and what you can do if you see them. So grab your favorite drink, get comfy. Let's dive into it. All right, so here are some of the signs to look for. The first one, big shifts in mood and behavior. If you see a shift in your child's mood, a significant behavior change, sometimes it could be little things, but often it's a big shift. Basically, mood and behavior beyond what is typical of your child. Not every child is the same, so it's really important to understand what is typical or atypical for your child. So kids grow and change all the time, but a significant sudden change is a big red flag. Maybe your child used to be really bubbly and now they're withdrawn. Maybe they used to be more passive and now they're aggressive. Maybe they used to be pretty even keel and now they're super irritable or angry. We all have those moments and that is normal, but when it's a pattern of behavior over a period of time, days or weeks, then that is a red flag. That is a sign that there's something going on with your child and they may need some support. Trouble at school. So if your child's grades are slipping, if they are school refusal, they don't want to go to school anymore, if they are getting into trouble at school, if they're fighting with classmates, if they come home really withdrawn, maybe teachers are pointing out changes. Sometimes kids use school as a safe place to express their needs if they're struggling elsewhere. So if there's reports or you notice changes at school, that's another indicator that they may need some help. Social withdrawal. If your child is pulling away from their friends, they're losing interest in doing things that they used to enjoy doing, or they're spending a lot of time alone, this is an indicator that something is going on. Understanding that interests shift as a child grows and changes, but if it is a sudden change and also over a number of different areas, if you see them isolating and withdrawing into themselves or not wanting to be with their friends, not wanting to participate in activities they used to love, that is a sign that they may need some extra help. Changes in sleep or appetite. If your child is having nightmares, or maybe at bedtime it is, I need a glass of water, I need to use the washroom. Can you just come in here for a second? I have a question to ask you. All of these things that are going to help them avoid sleep, those are indicators. So maybe they're not sleeping, maybe they're waking up with night terrors, or maybe they're sleeping too much. Appetite, maybe their appetite, all of a sudden they're not eating, they're not hungry, they say their tummy hurts a lot, or they don't feel well. Those are indicators that a child is having some issues that may need some extra help. big fears or worries that don't match the situation. So I often talk, how do we say, does the punishment fit the crime? Does the reaction fit the situation? So if these big fears and worries are exaggerated and over the top, very irrational, that is a sign of anxiety or trauma in some situations where they believe that the world is an unsafe place to be in. So any changes in all of a sudden, big fears. Sometimes it's developmental fear, right? Sometimes as we grow, we have developmental milestones, we have developmental fears. So we start to, as we're more aware of our surroundings, sometimes kids are more afraid of being kidnapped or something happening to a parent or, once they experience death and that sort of thing. But monitor that. If they are big fears and worries that do not match the situation, that is an indicator that your child, there's something going on and your child may need some help. A regression to younger behaviors. This is a big one. If your child regresses to like toddler or infant-like behavior, depending on age, teenagers, if they regress to younger behaviors, this is a big indicator that something is going on. And yes, people have said to me, well, teenagers are going to tell you. No, not always. Depends what happened, right? They may not be able to articulate it. It may be too big for them. Just like the big fears or worries, these kind of behaviors indicate that this is beyond what the child can manage on their own, and they may need extra help for that. This one, big time. If it is a regression in behaviors like that, something has happened or something is going on within that child's mind that they need this extra help. So that could be thumb sucking, that could be incontinence, that could be wetting the bed, it could be whiny behavior, temper tantrums, those kinds of things. Baby talk is another one that happens where they talk like an infant or, like a toddler, right? That baby talk. Those are all signs that something could be going on with your child. Talking about self-harm or expressing hopelessness. More and more these days, children are talking about self-harm or suicidal ideations, and they're younger years are talking about it. And that's because there's more knowledge now, social media and that sort of thing. There's more awareness or just kids talking about it. And I know I've had parents say, they said, I just want to die. I don't want to be here anymore. But they're too young. They don't get it. It could be an expression. It could be a call for help, but we need to take it seriously. So if your child is expressing self-harm ideations or talk or suicidal ideations or a sense of hopelessness, what's the point? Doesn't matter anyway, those kinds of things. Those are signs that you should seek help for your child. Difficulty coping with big life changes. So divorce, moving, death in the family or within that child's life. Those are big changes. Those are big losses possibly. And a child is going to experience a lot of the same emotions that an adult might experience, the grief, the loss, the sadness. But if your child is having a hard time bouncing back from it, so let's say it's a move or parental divorce, and they're really having a hard time bouncing back from it, they feel like, you feel like they're not talking, they're sad all the time, perseverating or ruminating on what happened, then that's an indication that they might need some help. And it might just be that, I know in my experience with kids, with parents that are divorcing, they don't want to talk about it with either parent. And I'm not talking about the situations where the parents actually put the child in the middle or the children in the middle. I'm talking about just, they don't want to hurt either parent's feelings. They don't want to share that this is hurting them because maybe they know their parents are already upset and they don't want to add to it. So giving them somebody neutral, non-judgmental, someone who's not emotionally invested in it can be very helpful for your child just to navigate how they're feeling and come up with some strategies, or maybe help them script how they want to talk to you about it. If it's loss and grief, if you are grieving as well, sometimes it's easier for somebody, especially a professional who specializes in grief, but somebody who can, again, take on that role of being a neutral party, just helping the child through it so that you can grieve and work through your grief as well. Those are some of the common signs. One of the biggest ones in my experience is the sudden shift in behavior and the regression in behavior, and also that withdrawal, not wanting to do things anymore. Those are ones that I see most often, and the big fears, the irrational, catastrophic fears that can happen. If any of these are happening, if you notice any of these changes, it's okay. It doesn't mean rush to a therapist right away. Just open up a gentle, non-judgmental conversation. I notice you've been a bit off lately. Is everything okay? Do you want to talk about what's going on? Those are closed-ended questions and they can start it. But then saying something like, so what's up? Or you can use that instead, right? You know your child best, but sometimes they just need a little, kind of like an icebreaker, right? I've noticed this, are you okay? They may say, yes, okay. So this is what I'm noticing. Can I talk to you about that? Can you share with me a little bit? I want to help you. I know it can be really hard to understand it. Open up to them a little bit too. Sometimes when this happens with me, this is how I'm feeling, this is how I deal with it. Let them know that they're not alone in that. You can also say something like, it looks like things have been hard for you lately. Do you want to talk about it? Even if they don't open up right away, they know you care enough to ask, and they may eventually open up, or they may not. And that is even a more clear indication that maybe talk to them about seeing a therapist. What I often say to families when the kids are a little bit hesitant to see me or someone in my office, I will say a couple of things. The first one is, you're in control. Yeah, the session is 50 minutes to an hour, but if you only want to stay 15 minutes, that's cool, that's fine. If you want to stay half an hour, cool. We will do what you want. That gives them some control, and they know that if they need to bolt, they'll bolt. In my experience, I have never had a child or a youth bolt. Once they get in there and they notice it's not so bad, especially first session when it's just kind of getting to know each other, they usually stay and then they want to come back. The other thing I say to children is, it's up to you. If you want to come in by yourself, that's fine. If you want a parent to come in with you or both parents, I'm cool with that too. If you just want them to come in for a little bit at the beginning or the end, whatever you want, if you want them to stay the whole thing, it gives them that safe space. And often they start with parents and then they say, I'm okay. And a therapist will often check in, how you doing, and that kind of thing. We want this to be safe and beneficial for your child. So that's how we work it. If you think that your child is doing okay, might not need a therapist, but then those fears, those signs stick around, it may be a good idea to reach out to a therapist yourself and ask for some resources, or set up an appointment to get some resources or consultation. It may talk to your doctor, pediatrician, book an appointment with a therapist, talk to your child about that. And remember, you don't have to have all the answers. Like I said, there's no manual for raising children. This is what we do. And it's okay to seek help for that. We don't have to know all of it. I know social media, society tells us as parents that you should know everything, but you don't. We don't. It's not possible to. Things are thrown at us. Just being present in your child's life is so powerful. Being present in moments where you notice these things is so powerful. I just wanted to have a quick word about stigma. I want you to think about therapy for your child as just a simple tool, like a math tutor or a coach for a sport, a music teacher, providing your child with skills so that they can master an area of their life, emotional well-being, mental well-being, emotional intelligence, whatever it happens to be. It helps kids learn a way to deal with their emotions and deal with situations. It provides coping skills. It helps kids learn how to handle difficult emotions, difficult situations. It helps kids handle feelings and challenges. and it's nothing to be ashamed of. So right now, I just want you to reflect a little. I want you to take a moment and I want you to ask yourself, have I noticed any of these signs in my child? Or maybe just in kids you know. Have you noticed any of these signs? Let me know in the comments, and you can reach out to me in the comments. I can provide you some assistance. And sometimes just knowing what to look for is a sense of empowerment as a parent. And sometimes sharing in the comments just helps us feel a little less alone because you see other people sharing similar content. Thanks for hanging out with me today. If you can take one thing from this video, let it be this. Noticing signs is not about judgment. It's about learning ways and knowing when to support a child that might need some extra support. It's about offering that support and love. Kids are resilient, and with the right help, they can thrive. All right, if you found this helpful, hit the like button or share. Drop me a comment. Subscribe to our channel. And you can also see shorter videos on YouTube, some tips and tricks on Instagram, on TikTok and Facebook, and podcasts on YouTube and Spotify under the Mental Playbook with Christine Dalgety. All right, while you're taking care of your children, take care of you.